Y'all know Kurt. As we're leaving this camp, he's going to be out there socializing with the fishermen. Doesn't matter the language, doesn't matter the age. Kurt loves a fisherman. All right, it's time for us to hit the road. We are northbound towards our next campsite.
All right, we have about a 2.5-hour drive to get up to Mostar. We do have a really cool stop along the way. Snow's at the wheel, but we just came through a really cool section of mountains wrapping around, and every once in a while you'd come up on a little kind of village or town and maybe some scattered ruins. But characteristic is the red roofs, the Mediterranean style red roofs. Especially we saw like over in Croatia along the coast, Dubrovnik and that area. We're not too far from Dubrovnik, but we've come through the town of Lujebne, and you can see it's a little farming community, and it looks like they're growing a lot of like onions and leeks and things through this. But again, small plats of farms, and it's really kind of been a striking drive through the mountains. But I will tell you, the trees and all that type of stuff is definitely changed significantly from when we first entered into Bosnia. So we are seeing a lot of diversity on the drive. All right, we are just happening down the road. And lo and behold, what do we have here?
Cow. Well, and to be fair, we knew something was coming. Everybody was flashing their lights for us to, and doing the slow down, the universal signal for slow down. And we come around the curve, and there were several cows, but that one's definitely
walking down the middle of the road.
Walking down the middle of the road. Now we'll do the same thing. Tell people to slow down. But yes, the universal signal. Flash your headlights. It happens in every country. And it means slow down. Sometimes because there's a policeman, sometimes because there's a cow.
And just like that, we top the hill and we can see the sprawling valley and the city of Mostar. Now, we have a big stop before we head to Mostar, but it looks like that city down below is gonna have some, spoiler alert, really cool stuff.
Really cool stuff. It's supposed to be one of Bosnia's most visited cities, and it's got a really cool bridge.
His name is Zanite, and he's the owner and the host of the place.
Nice.
Showed me around. Nice little place on the river down there. All right, we have settled on this sweet little campsite, and right next to us they have a nice hot shower, bathrooms, all that. Really good Wi-Fi, the router's right there. And so we're able to upload some videos and get some other stuff done. The next door, if you can see, there's small farms on either side. And if you look real close, there's some big fat strawberries on some of those plants. It looks like those are fig or maybe date trees. There's a lot of that stuff in this region. There's a big castle or something up on the mountaintop up there. We're just outside of Mostar, so it's a really good location for that. Our destination we go to is right down the road. Surprise, surprise, this place is gonna be epic. They have a little restaurant down here by the water, and it has a really beautiful river. They've got a lot of ducks and stuff playing around here. And also, I should tell you, the owner and the people are super cool. So let's enjoy some time here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's awesome. Thank you. It turns out we were gonna get a hamburger. We got 2 big chunks, patties, French fries, slaw salad, and big old breads. So we ended up with a feast.
Jabuka?
Jabłka.
Jabuka. Jabuka.
Thank you.
Okay. The jabuka is apple juice. This she called Bosnia cake.
Bosnia cake.
a mystery made a wonder. You never know when it's gonna make your heart go boom, 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 boom. Oh, I feel it. It's a thrill that's buzzing in my fingertips. I feel it. I feel it. Chasing the unknown. The moment we waited on forever, forever is the moment we waited on forever.
Good morning, everyone. We are going to a special place today. We are on a walk there, and you can see, look, a couple cool things I want to point out. Concrete tiles on the roof. And then right over here, right next to it, of course, we have this beautiful river where there's a little trout farm right there. And the trout here is delicious and plentiful. And there, right there, they have some, probably take the water right out of the river. And those are trout beds that are full. Snow's with me. And today we're gonna have some fun going to a really cool place.
We parked in a paid parking. They told us it's about a 5-minute walk, we'll see. But the walk is really pretty along this river. And as we get closer to where we're headed, there's more restaurants. Definitely a lot of little tourist shops. Now it's not high season, so only a couple of these are open. It's also early. I think we're probably around 9:30. But I don't think they'll all open at this time of the year. But we're almost there.
They say when a girl walks the edges of the world, she'll find herself if she looks for long enough. They say when a girl walks the edges of the world, she'll find herself if she looks for long enough.
Do you have cheese?
Thank you for your help. Oh, perfect. Thank you, thank you. Only one. One's good. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. To assume that you're not from here.
Right. Okay, I'm good?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So we're leaving the Dervish house. And Emma, who works here, was absolutely amazing at breaking everything down. She told us about the guest rooms for long-term or short-term stays, and where one of the rooms was for where people would come to try to find, you know, their spiritual healing, and they could stay in there for 1, maybe even as long as 40 days and go through a whole process. You can definitely see the prayer rooms. They have a kitchen, and she told us that above the kitchen is where they build the bathhouses so that the heat is not lost, it's used twice. And she was really kind at explaining things, and that the different denominations that are part of this Dervish religion,
and it's all part of Islam. And as we're leaving here, I want to say something to all you guys out there. You know that we don't talk politics on our channel. Well, as we get into different parts of the world that have different religions, we don't discuss that on our channel either, okay guys? So no politics in the comments, no religion in the comments. We respect everybody's beliefs, no matter who or what they may be. So that's how we're gonna deal with this. So please respect that for us, guys, as we start to tour different parts of the world that have different beliefs. And with that, we are gonna go walk across this bridge, take you to the other side of the river from the dervish house. And over there, we're gonna tell you some pretty cool things about this beautiful river. It's actually very, very special. I wanna tell you guys, that is the first time that I've entered a building where I needed to cover my head. Emma was very kind and helped me put the scarf on correctly. Kurt has on shorts, but they were covering his knees. They're long like basketball shorts. So he did not need to put on one of the wraparounds that the men need to wear to cover their legs. He just barely skirted through, or shorted through. But yeah, I wanted to point that out because you saw me put on the headgear. I don't know what it's called. I need to learn that. But it's all part of the respect of other religions. And as we get further and further into these kind of cultures, there'll probably be times I can't even enter the buildings. But that's okay too. Kurt will take you in. Now, let's go cross this bridge. We are caught up in the crowds of a tour bus. I'm gonna go up here and find Kurt and see if we can't sit down and just have a coffee until this tour goes through, because a lot of people just got here. So right over there is the dervish house that we just toured with Emma. We walked across the bridge after being invaded by the tour bus, and we decided to find us a seat and get some juice and a little bit of hummus and let the tours run on through. We'll see if that backfires or if more people end up showing up. But look at our view for our juice break. So this is the Buna River, B-U-N-A. And the dervish house sits right at basically the beginning of it. Inside this cliff, back in there a little ways, is the water source, the actual spring. And what is so special about it is this is the largest source, largest spring, puts out the most water in all of Europe. So right there, bubbling out of the side of this huge cliff, is just tons of water rushing out of here. Imagine how clean that water is. And the current through here can be very strong, of course. Emma told us that sometimes whirlpools even form, and that's why this is a no swimming zone. Now, 15, 20 or so years ago, they tried to explore the crevices and the caves that go back to the actual water source. But they're as much as 98 meters deep. That's over 300 feet deep back in here. And a diver that was doing the exploration actually lost his life while trying to explore the caves and the crevices and everything. So they've abandoned that. They've tried doing it with robotics and drones and different ways. But so far, the actual water source that is deep inside this cliff is a bit of a mystery. They've never actually made it to it. But it puts out a lot of beautiful, clean, wonderful fresh water for this part of the world. And the way that it just comes out of the side of this cliff, it's beautiful.
So we've kind of, after lunch, we followed the little trail around here to the other side. So there is the dervish house right there that we visited and learned a lot about, well, this little area and region. And it's funny because the pigeons are just flying back into the cave and the other birds, and there's swallows coming around here catching bugs. And the water is just a really pretty blue, and it's reflective, and it's a really, really, really nice spot. I think Snow's gonna take the plunge.
Ooh, it's cold.
The largest freshwater spring in all of Europe right here, guys. And that pigeon just carried in a branch like he's building a nest.
What a beautiful place. Very peaceful. I can see why they would want a religious house built right here.
The souvenir shops have opened up. When we came through here this morning, most of them were closed, and there's still a good bit of them that are closed, but they're opening up.
We have made it to our campground in the city of Mostar. We have neighbors. This isn't your typical campground, but it is literally in Old Town. So we only have to walk like a block or two to get to the really cool historic stuff. It's also an expensive campground. It is the off-season prices, and it is $40 or 40 euros a night. I think during season, this would be 50 euros a night. Now, it is secure parking. They have showers, bathrooms, a sink, a place to do your toilet stuff if you need to, water, and electricity. But the really, really good selling point is how close we are to the Old Town. Now, Kurt's standing up there on the terrace, and from the terrace, we have a view of the old bridge. But we'll show you that later. We're about to take a walk and go see the old bridge up close and in person. And Vanna is taking her spot there. Nope, she changed her mind in the sun. So we are about to leave the campsite and take a walk over just a couple of blocks to the old town of Mostar and to see this bridge and everything. But before we do that, I want to just give you a brief overview of the history of this area. Now, it has really old history, you know, like Ottoman empires and such. And in the 1400s, this, what is now a world famous bridge, this Mostar Bridge, was constructed. It was wood to begin with. It was rebuilt over time. But I want to bring you more current with the history that this place has been through, because we've shared a lot of the old history, but we're in a region of the world that has some very tragic, fairly new history in the grand scheme of things. So there was a war in the early 1990s. Now, y'all bear with me. I am not a historian. These are not exact dates. And I'm not going to get everything just right. I'm just going to give y'all the gist of it so you can understand what this area has been through. In the early 1990s, this whole area was Yugoslavia, and it started to split up, and the different countries began to develop, and there was a lot of wars back and forth, fighting over territory. It was a very tumultuous time. And here in Bosnia, in 92, I believe, they were at war with the Serbs, which would be Serbia. And that is probably over to the east or maybe a little bit to the southeast of Bosnia. And at that time, we believe, we've read this right, we believe we've studied this right and heard the stories right, Croatia, which is to the west of us, was helping Bosnia. So Croatia and Bosnia at first were kind of working together and fighting with Serbia. And these were dramatic wars. I mean, cities completely under siege, bombs everywhere. I mean, people dying, like legit war like you read about, but we're in an area where it actually happened. Somewhere along the way, Croatia decided they didn't want to be friends with Bosnia anymore. So Bosnia was actually fighting a war for a short period of time with two different countries on two different sides. And Mostar was a hot spot for where these wars were happening. And for a while, this town, the west side of the river was Croats. The east side of the river was, what do they call them, Kurt? Bosniaks? Yeah. Bosniaks. And they were fighting literally across the river for territory. It was, if you see the photos, and we'll try to pull some from online, it looked like something you would see in a World War I or World War II movie. It was just wiped out completely, as recently as in the 90s. So when you're walking these streets and you see the locals that are our age, they were fighting in that war. I mean, this is recent history. Now, The war, I think around 95 or so, started to settle down. Everybody got happy with, you know, their new country boundaries, and that part settled down. But you still had amazing historical landmarks that were destroyed, cities and towns that were literally destroyed. And the world, literally, many, many, many countries came in and helped finance the rebuilding of places like Mostar, recognizing that the history was too important. Now this bridge, when it was built back in the 1400s, I believe it was as tall and wide as any other bridge, and the way it spanned over a river, it was really, really something in its day, like the Brooklyn Bridge or the Golden Gate Bridge. It was world famous back in the 14 and 1500s. And it's now a UNESCO World Heritage Site, so they needed to rebuild it exactly. Now what we've heard is they took each stone and meticulously put it back exactly. So although this bridge was destroyed in those awful wars in the 90s, it is built back as an exact replica. And the surrounding area, the whole Old Town area, has been restored. And I just wanted you to understand that we're about to walk through an area that truly has tragic, tragic history. And I think from what we know, we're going to be amazed at how far it's come and how beautiful it is. So I hope I didn't bore y'all with too many details, but that's my take on Mostar.
Look at this, wow. Look at these old buildings. This is a cool walled city. And look, those stone tiles, roof tiles that we saw. Look at this, guys. So we have made it to the bazaar. How bizarre, how bizarre.
I don't know if y'all can see it, but over there, up a level, behind this tall tree on the right side of the screen, is the top of our van. Can't see the whole thing, but that's our campsite. What a great place for a campsite, to be so close to such history. Normally we have to park on the outside of town. This time, we are right in the middle of all of it. Now, this bridge is incredibly slippery. I don't know if y'all can see how shiny the rocks are. Kurt, show them these little berms they built to hold your feet. So that is how you don't fall down the bridge.
That's how you do it.
How do they feel?
Sold.
All right, Kurt has been looking for slippers, and he just found a cool pair.
Are these the only 45s you have? Do you have different 45s?
Kurt finally got him some slippers. Y'all know he's been looking for them for a long, long time. I think since Cruye. He's good now.
All right, I fetched us some of this designer yogurt, ice cream, gelato. Snow got the Oreo, and I got the raspberry cheesecake.
And we have the perfect seat. All right, we are leaving Old Town, sort of. We're headed back to our campsite, which is literally right on the edge of Old Town. We took a different route, so we get to walk over this cool bridge over this beautiful river. So right over there, that's all the restaurants where we were just walking. And on the other side of that would be the bridge. What an amazingly beautiful town, guys.
Wow, absolutely blown away. Really blown away.
Normally when you get us in an area like this that's so touristy, we're a little turned off just because we're used to traveling where the people usually are not. It didn't bother me here. This place is pretty enough to share with everybody else, right, Kurt?
Well, there's so many levels too, and so many different little details and stories and history and cultures and themes and foods, and it's just, I mean, it just is intense. It really is. Woo! Man, I gotta tell you, our time here in Bosnia has been blowing us away with just all sorts of new things to see and fascinating things. And we continue just to be surprised at every turn. And Mostar and also that dervish monastery. Wow, and these rivers. Oh my, guys. This place is beautiful. And this is where we're gonna wind down the video, sipping some wine, staring at the river.
And that beautiful bridge.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you guys know when we put out new videos. And don't forget, you can always follow us over on Instagram to see what's going on in between videos. Cheers, guys.